everybody watching this back. This is Monday's live stream. I'm going to use the first few minutes to say hi to everybody who joins. So if you're watching the playback of this, feel free to skip forward to where we get started. As always, I'm a little bit late on pulling up chat here. Okay, so we'll just wait for a few people to join. And while we wait, I'm just going to get some stuff ready. Hi Katrina, thanks for joining, hun. I hope you're doing well today. Just getting some stuff pulled out. It's running a little bit behind. We have some issues at the house here, waiting for a plumber, so that's always fun. Hi Alicia, thanks for joining, sweetheart. Hi Jody. I hope you're all doing lovely today. So I went to the city with my mom on Saturday. Hi Connie. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It usually happens this time of year though. As soon as it starts to get cold, it seems. Hi Kimberly. Thanks for joining. Everybody else who's here. Yeah, so I went to the city with my mom on Saturday, and of course I talked her into stopping in at Michael's because I've gotten her addicted to that store. She loves walking around in there. And she's just like us in the sense that she always complains about spending way too much, even though we just went there to look. The city that we went to is called Calgary, and it's about 2 hours from where I live. We had to take my step-grandparents to the airport because they're flying to Arizona to see their parents. So, my mom picked up a copy of this for me. The only Christmas book that I have is Hannah Lynn's book, so I figured for live streams in December we could color a little bit in this. So I wanted to grab that, and then she also grabbed me Mythographic, but I don't get that till Christmas, I think. She's holding it hostage. And then I was looking at the stickles, and they had a sale. So I grabbed these as well to add to my collection. I already have a silver one, but now I have two, and I thought these colors were super pretty. So I had to grab those as well. This was pretty fun. We probably spent, I think, an hour and a half in the store, but it was pretty fun. Hi, Amberly. It is a really beautiful book, Connie. I was stuck between that or the Lizzie Mary Collins Christmas, but I didn't really want to order anything because the post is kind of slow here. With it being almost Christmas time, and the post is actually going on strike as well, so mail will be a little bit slower than usual. And of course you like that, Jody. You are like the goddess of glitter. Well, we will definitely do a fair bit of that in December because, like I said, the only other book that we have is the Hannah Lynn Christmas one, and I already plan on doing a color along for Christmas in that already, so definitely do some Johanna as well. Hi, Selena. I hope you're all doing good today. So we're going to continue in the Pop Manga Mermaids, and if you weren't here last time, we started on this little dragon girl, and I absolutely love it. I did finish my turtles page, so I did decide to go with a light yellow green, and I really like it. I think it complements the turtles as well. So super happy with that page. I absolutely love the watercolor look of that. So before we get started, for the background, I think I'm definitely going to use paint, but I am undecided on whether to use this really vibrant green color or this really pretty blue color. Her hair is going to be a little bit more on the green side. Right now it's pretty blue. It's going to be a really dark bluish green. Bluish green. So what color do you guys think would go best? I'm thinking the light green and then with blue bubbles to kind of match her hair, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, really, Katrina? Before I only had, I have these ones. So they come in 3 packs, and unfortunately, I don't know why, but they don't have the colors on these smaller ones. So these were the ones that I've had for probably about a year now, and I usually use this one because it can go over pretty much anything. So that's definitely a good one to have. But I use them a fair bit. I actually really enjoy using them, minus the bumpy texture that they give. Thanks, Amberly. Katrina, I used the Neocolor 2s on this page. Just Neocolors and then a Posca pen for white highlights, but I kind of wanted to do some mindless coloring, and I don't practice around with my Neos enough, so, you know, if I did this page in pencil, it probably would have taken me at least 12 hours, I would guess, probably even more, because sometimes it takes me 12 hours on a single page, so... And doing it with the Neocolors, it maybe took 6 hours, I would estimate. So it's pretty fun to do, pretty quick, and I really like how it turned out. Kimberly, the closest color glitter I have to blue and green are these ones. If you're talking about the stickles. Hi, Robin. Thanks for being here, hun. Thanks, precious. A big welcome to everybody joining. I'm gonna have to find a way to store my stickles though, or at least find a place to put them. I'm not too sure where yet, but they're a little bit hard to grab at where I've got them. Okay, so I'm still torn on paint color. Jody says blue. Let's get her hair done and then it'll be a little bit easier to decide, I think. Oh, the clear ones. Sorry. Let's scroll back up to your question. I don't know. It's kind of got like, yeah, like reds, blues, and greens in it, I think. Having your head shrunk. I'm not quite sure what that means, Robin. It doesn't sound lovely though, that's for sure. Okay, so as always, I'm going to have a flick through my combinations book just to kind of see if we can find a good hair color. I'm kind of liking this one, but I want it to be more green, so we're definitely going to have cobalt turquoise in there. Oh, okay, that makes so way more sense. Okay. I might make up my own combination for this. There's not really any in here that are close enough to what I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm definitely going to grab the cobalt turquoise. That's probably going to be our darkest color. So we'll grab that. So I want it to be a greenish blue, so maybe pop some parrot green in there, and then I'm just going to grab aquamarine, light aqua, and light green. And I think we'll go with those. It'll be kind of similar to our witch's hat from the Jasmine Beckett Griffith book, but a little bit different. So I'll just zoom in here. Oh, okay. Thanks, Kimberly. I don't know why they don't write the names on the smaller ones. It would be nice to know. Definitely sounds like I need that crystal one. Thanks, Connie. Okay, so I think I'm going to go backwards to what I usually do. So usually I would start with the dark colors for her hair, but I'm gonna go in with my light green first, maybe. No, I changed my mind. We're gonna stick with our dark colors because I'm not going to be able to see that one. And I'm going to need my pencil extender for my poor little aquamarine pencil. It's getting pretty small. The crystal one does sound a lot prettier. I might have to put that on my wish list. Yeah, Connie, I have Wink Estella. I don't use it very often, but I should. I think because I'm scared to use it, I feel like it's going to run out. But somebody gave me a tip that if you put, I think they said rubbing alcohol in after it's run out, because there's still a lot of glitter left in the barrel, that you can pretty much use it twice, sometimes even 3 times. So that's definitely handy. Okay, so I am going to come in with my cobalt turquoise. And for now, I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow in where this dragon is sitting on her head. So I'm not going to worry about doing hair strokes just yet. I'm going to make it dark in where he's resting, and then we'll fade it out. And I'm thinking I might actually want to introduce a darker color just for these shadows where he's sitting. I'm not sure what color that would be yet, though. It doesn't seem like it's going to last forever, Kimberly, but maybe it's just toying with me. I do still have quite a bit left, and I did use it a lot last October for Inktober. And then I've used it on quite a few pages since, and there is still quite a bit in there. But for the price, it definitely should last forever. I think I might be a little bit boring here with my shadows, and come in with the black. Connie, this page here, the turtle page, was just Neocolor. And then the page that we're working on, the base for this, I used the Derwent Inktense pencils. I've heard really good things about those sparkle pens. I might have to check those out. So I'm just going to come in with the black, and I'm going to try and keep this kind of like a harsh shadow right where he's sitting. I don't really want to fade it out too much. I just want to place it in underneath, fade it out slightly, and leave it like that. Well, what do you guys think for these bubbles? Because what I was thinking of doing was kind of coloring them in with pencil, making them look interesting, giving them some depth. And then I was thinking about going over top of them with stickles. If you guys were here last time, you know that I use stickles very sparsely, so you'll still be able to see the color underneath. Or we could use the Wink of Stella pen and just give the bubbles a really subtle shimmer. Hi, Nick and Tina. Good answer, Jody. Oh, that's good, Connie. I definitely enjoy it too, and you do learn quite a bit as well, so. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with the Cobalt Turquoise, and I'm going to add quite a bit of this into our shadows now. Again, I'm not worried about making hair strands for now. I just want to get those shadows down because you're not really going to see the strands of hair in the shadows anyways. So I'm using a fairly firm pressure up top near the black. And then I'm just kind of fading it out as we get lower down. And 2 seconds, I think I have a cat at my door. Nope, not a cat, it's the hubby. I definitely agree, Kimberly. Even though I would say I'm pretty decent at putting in the shadows. I definitely struggle sometimes though. So even I still really enjoy watching, especially like Sammy is like, she always says that she's not very good at it, but I disagree. She is great at putting in shadows. Same with May. And there's quite a few other ones as well that I enjoy watching because everybody just kind of sees a picture differently. But I do also think that even if you add just some shadows in, even if they are not where they would be, it still adds quite a bit of interest to the picture anyways. I definitely agree, Kimberly. What's up, little ma'am?
I need to wash it pretty.
You need help?
Yeah, with chocolate.
Okay. Just 1 second.
Why she has red on her hair? I
don't know. I think that's like her little friend. Okay, be right back.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Sorry about that. Little one's playing Minecraft, and Rain knows pretty much nothing about it, so I'm usually the one that has to go help. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Loretta. That's okay. Lurk away. Thanks for being here. So now that we got our shadows in, I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring some of these lines down. I'm going to kind of follow the lines that she has already drawn here, just because this hair scares me a little bit. So I will make a few of my own strands, but I'm also going to follow a few of the darker strands that she has in already. So just short little flicking motions following the direction that the hair is going. Okay, there we go. Yes, Connie, hun, I'm using Prismas now. I actually didn't say, I just assumed that you guys knew because I almost always use Prismas. Apologies for that. Oh, you can't be that bad, Precious. You should hear mine. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the aquamarine now, and I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to pop that color in there. I'm not going to be very neat with it. One thing I really am finding that I like about this paper is even though I pretty much completely burnished her face, I can still see these lines showing up really sharply over top of her skin, which is nice. I was worried that I'd have to use a fine liner or something, but this is actually working pretty well. Okay, and then after that we're going to switch to the light aqua and do the exact same thing. Oh, well, I appreciate you being here, Connie. I will definitely try to voice what I'm using more often then. Just kind of get into the habit of just carrying on and getting distracted. I am the opposite, Precious. I am hopeless when it comes to markers, but pencils I am fairly good at. Sounds a little bit blocked today. Is it better with the light on, guys? I don't know if that made much of a difference. Let me know. Right, Jody? Me too, although I probably couldn't pull it off. Oh goodness, Robin. It'd be quite funny. Thanks, Connie. No, you are definitely the master of sparkles, that's for sure, Jody. Okay, so now that I've got my hair strands in there, what I'm going to do is something that you guys probably think is strange, but I'm going to take my light green and I'm going to use this to burnish her hair. So I'm going to use a fairly firm pressure, but I'm going to color in the direction that the hair is going. That way those strands stay visible, we can still see them, but it'll just make her hair look more green. if you can see the difference there, but just changes up the color a little bit. Thanks, Tracy. And thanks for being here. I feel like I didn't say hi to you. Probably missed you. Welcome. Sorry, 2 seconds, guys. Okay, sorry about that. Hubby's just off somewhere. Now I need to look out for the plumber. Hopefully they'll get here soon. They said yesterday that they'd be here first thing in the morning, and it's now been almost 4 hours since they said they'd be here. Oh, I hope you get better, Katrina. I know, that's what I said too, Kimberly, and then I got this one, and now I have 2 more. And there's still some on my wish list too, so it's like a never-ending thing. I need more space in my room to store them though. Okay, so for her eyelashes, I think what I'm going to do, usually I would go in with a black Prismacolor pencil, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my fine liner. This is just a cheap studio fine liner that I got from the dollar store. And I'm just kind of go a little bit crazy with her eyelashes here. Still going to be careful though, so it's like a careful kind of crazy. Just a little bit at a time. Eyelashes are always kind of scary to do because they're easy to wreck, and black is not an easy color to get rid of either, so I really want to make her eyes stand out. I don't think that looks too bad. Thanks, Precious. If I didn't say thank you already. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted, so I'm not sure what I've replied to or not already. Hi, Elizabeth. That is pretty good timing. And I know I said last stream that I was going to stream on Friday. I was going to put an apology on Instagram saying that I wasn't going to make it, but I was so tired. What did we do Friday? I can't remember. We got busy doing something, and then we didn't get home till a little bit late, and I was just so tired by the time we got home. I just was not up for doing anything. think I like those eyelashes. They're very dramatic. Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath, Kimberly. Always got more coming out that you're gonna want. Okay, so now that we've got her hair done, let's try and decide on a background color. So let's see if I can find a bigger area of those colors. Let's see, this one is Green Energy, and I believe that's what I painted this one with. Sorry, 2 seconds, guys. Let me just find these. Okay, so this is the green. So you can kind of see how that would look with everything. It might be a little bit too bright, but I could always dull it down with some white paint to kind of create a really pastel green color that's not so bright. Or the other one that I was thinking, I don't think I have it painted in here, but the equivalent would probably be, maybe I do. Okay, that one. If I can find it here. It's that one. I think it would match too much though. Suppose we could maybe do this one instead. Probably need 2 coats of the paint though. What do you guys think? Precious, the Christmas book I got was this one. It's just Johanna's Christmas. This came out last year. Thanks, Charlotte. I definitely love making the eyes come alive because that pretty much makes the rest of the picture come alive. Hi, Dorothy. Thanks for being here, hon. Thanks, Precious. Really not sure what color to go with though, guys. I'm gonna veto this one out because it's just way too close to her hair color. So we could go darker, maybe even. And go in with this one. It'd really make her stand out, but it would cover up the bubbles. Well, I guess we could paint around the bubbles and then just add our own in. That would really make the yellow pop out. I don't know. Now I'm stuck between the green or the dark blue. Yeah, this is acrylic paint, Bella. Connie, no, I haven't. They are a little bit out of my budget range. Maybe in the future, all the cash from the ads and donations through the channel will go to materials and stuff for videos. So maybe in the future I'll look into getting a handful of them to play around with. But for now, I have the chalk pastels, and I do like them. Okay, dark blue. All right, let's go with that. So let me just grab it here. Oh, this is another thing that my mom grabbed from Michael's. It's this paper mache unicorn, and now it's my job to paint it, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. But I already have my colors picked out because she loves purple, so I'm thinking either a white or light purple colored unicorn with purple hair. I'm pretty excited, actually. Okay, so that color was the Folk Art Navy Blue. So I'm just gonna grab out my brushes here and get some water and stuff. And maybe move my pencils so they don't roll all over the place and be broken. Hi Sharon, thanks for joining. Yeah, Dorothy, a light lavender with purple hair would be amazing. She loves unicorns and her absolute favorite color is purple, so it'd definitely be fun to do. So we might actually not have to do 2 coats of this. I think that color before, in the previous book, was the navy blue by Americana, and the one that I have here is by Folk Art, and it seems like it's a lot more, what's the word? It's a lot thicker, so we might not have to do 2 coats. So since we're painting, I'm just going to zoom out here. And the first thing that I'm going to do, actually, is I want to grab, of course, I think I got rid of it. 2 seconds, guys, I need some parchment paper. Okay, got some parchment paper, and that's just going to make it so the paint doesn't go back onto the other pages. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of color in the spine here. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Precious. It is a beautiful book. I was actually enabled by Sammy. Once she showed it on one of her streams, I was just hooked on it. I don't have the first one, although it is on my list to get now. Whether I will or not, I'm not 100% sure. But it's definitely one to have if you have the funds for it. Goodness, one thing downside about having cats is their hair gets everywhere. It's stuck in the paint. So I'm not going to be too neat for now. Just going to kind of get that paint in there. Not really paying attention to chat for the moment. I need to concentrate a little bit here. Once I get the majority of this paint in, I'll catch up on chat and then we'll go in and do the more tedious work around her face and the dragon and everything. I do apologize if anybody is following along with this and if I'm going too fast. I am a painter, so it's kind of second nature to me. Should be okay to take that out. I'm going to put my other piece of paper behind it just in case though. Okay, I'll just quickly catch up on chat and then we'll continue. Yes, it does for sure, Jody. It drives my husband crazy. He's constantly complaining about cat hair. Elizabeth, I usually use either folk art. I also like the Americana paint. And another one that I really like is Apple Barrel, although I don't really recommend this one for coloring books unless you want one that's not really opaque. Like if I colored in the background with this, you'd probably still be able to see the bubbles through. It would give some nice color, but it wouldn't completely cover the page. Hi, Kenny. No, you're not late. You're totally on time. We've been streaming for almost an hour now, but of course you join when the time is good for you. Vicky, no, this is just straight acrylic paint. I'm glad to hear that, Sharon. This book is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so just kind of trying to decide which brush I want here, and I'm also just going to go in anywhere that has bumps from the acrylic paint. I just kind of want to smooth those out so it doesn't dry like that. Okay, and I think I'm going to go with a small rounded brush, kind of like this, to go in around our... I'm assuming she's a mermaid, but I'm not sure. I guess the book is Manga Mermaids, so they're probably all mermaids, right? Okay, and apologies, I am going to turn the book upside down just for a little bit here so I can get in on this side. Just don't want to put that down in the paint. I'm just going to start coming in very carefully with our paint. I want the paint to be rather thick, but be really careful with it. Still might need 2 layers for this, just because we're using a different brush and we're going to be a lot more careful with our paint than we were with the bigger brush. Oh, I've never heard of that, Connie. I'll definitely look into it. Oh, that sounds fun, Sharon. That's usually what I do when I watch live streams, is color a picture. Or another thing I like to do is I'll watch a tutorial for a picture, but I will apply it to a different picture, and I find that you learn a lot more that way because you kind of have to be a little bit spontaneous in some places. Annette, these paintbrushes are from a local art shop that we have here, but they're actually not my favorite. My favorite brushes I got were from Walmart, and they are the Daler Rowney brushes. I think it's like $10 Canadian for a set of, I want to say 15, which is really good. So for you guys, it'd probably be more like $6, maybe $6 or $7 for 15 brushes. Assuming you're in the US, which I assume almost everybody's in the US. Oh, hi Becca. Didn't see you there. Yes, those brushes are definitely amazing. They're super cheap, and then you don't have to be so careful with them because they're not like super expensive, so you can be rough and not worry about it, which is super nice. I almost need a smaller brush to get into some of these areas. Thanks, Flower Gal. Thanks for joining. How do you spell Taylor Rowney, Annette? Yeah, this paint does cover quite well. And on the camera it appears smooth, but if I zoomed you in, you'd probably notice that it's not as smooth as it actually looks. But as long as it looks smooth on camera, that's all I really care about, so. Because that means when I take a picture to upload to social media, it would look smooth. And for my own eyes, I don't really mind if it looks a little bit choppy. Here, I'll type it in chat here. Let's just make sure that's right, though. Yeah, okay. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm glad we went with this blue and not the lighter one or the green. Which I think still would have looked nice, but definitely makes her stand out a lot more. Just finish top here and then I will flip the book back around. Annette, I do. The person I did this one for still hasn't picked it up, but this one's a lot shinier than usual because I used a different kind of varnish for it. But I do double exposure galaxy paintings. And pretty much all of the paintings I do have glow-in-the-dark moons in them as well, so they're pretty cool. I definitely enjoy doing them. They're quite fun to do. They used to take me quite a while, but I've gotten it down to where I can usually do one in, depending on the size, I can usually do one within a couple hours. Not counting waiting time for everything to dry. Thanks, everybody. Okay, that should be good enough, I think. Thanks, precious. Don't be jealous. We've all got our talents. And I've absolutely always loved painting. I always made sure to take art class every year that I could in high school. And that was always my favorite, was when we were doing painting projects. is actually, I did a recreation of Van Gogh's A Starry Night. I'm sure most of you, even if you're not like a crazy art fanatic, probably know which painting I'm talking about because it's very well known. And of course my art teacher wanted to keep it, but she's retired now, so I should message her and ask if she still has it because I would love to have it back. I was never really very social in school. I've always had really bad social anxiety. It's probably worse now than when I was at school because now I can just stay at home. At school, I was kind of forced to talk to people. And, so I was kind of like the shy one in the class, so definitely was not very popular. But in art class, I seemed to always get a lot of attention, and it was nice and scary at the same time. Precious, I do have some speed painting videos. I know I have a few deer ones and some wolf ones up. I did a galaxy buffalo for my mother-in-law and a galaxy unicorn for my mom for Mother's Day, and those videos are both on YouTube here. Oops, let's go back over that with Prismacolor. I went over his, I don't quite know what that is, his whisker a little bit, I guess. Oh, whatever, we'll go over the whole thing. I'll put that back in. That is true, Sharon. I definitely get it from my great-grandma. She was a painter, and she has some amazing works of art out there. She sold quite a few. Thankfully, she also kept quite a lot too. I actually have one in my basement. And a couple others that I haven't hung yet because they're very old and I need new frames for them. But I think she did a lot of oil painting too. I just use acrylic. Yeah, social anxiety is awful. Like, even if somebody comes to the door, I like panic. I've told this story before, but a lot of you probably missed it because I was still pretty new to streaming then. But I remember there was a package that came to our door for the lady that lived here before us, and her last name was Jackson. One of the last names I go by is Jensen. It's not my legal last name, but I just prefer it to my legal last name, so I usually use it quite a bit. And so she said the person's name, and when she said Jackson, I heard Jensen because I was kind of like panicking. So of course I took this stupid package and signed for it. And then Rain's sitting on the couch and he looks at me, he's like, "Why did you sign for that? That wasn't for us." It's like, "Well, why didn't you say anything?" It's like, I don't know, I panicked. So thankfully I actually had the lady on Facebook, so I just messaged her and told her that her package was here and she picked it up, but I felt pretty dumb. Yeah, social anxiety is definitely not fun. That's interesting, Sharon. I guess in some places, well, you're probably like really comfortable at work, so it probably helps Because I know in some places, if I'm comfortable somewhere, then I can definitely come out of my shell without worrying too much. But places that I'm not really sure about, I kind of tend to stick to myself, or I almost never go anywhere by myself, so I usually tend to stick to whoever's with me. Just gonna go back in a couple of these areas where it's a little bit too splotchy for my liking. For the most part, it looks okay. I definitely agree, Sharon. Although in real life, I'm definitely still pretty socially awkward, but last year, I probably wouldn't have even dreamed of live streaming. You couldn't pay me to do it. And as I got more into YouTube and recording videos, I don't know, it just kind of got a little bit easier. Just being able to talk to everybody definitely helps. Sorry, I probably missed quite a bit of your comments trying to work with this paint here. Okay, bye Bella. I hope you have a great day or evening wherever you are. I wouldn't be able to either, Sharon. Oh, thanks, precious. Bye, Elizabeth. I hope you enjoy your day at work, hon. Don't work too hard now. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a different brush here for the top. And then there's our background painted in. So now I have another question. And I'll let you guys decide because I'm fine either way. It's kind of nice to have the input and to not have to make some of the decisions. We could go in and create our own bubbles and keep the background the same that it was before. Obviously not the exact same, but the same style anyways. Or I do have kind of like a little mermaid scale stencil, and we could go in with some blue and green acrylic paint to kind of match her hair and put that in at the background instead. What do you guys think? Which would you like to see? Oh, that's awful, precious. I hope you're doing better now, though. I got one for stencil and one for bubbles. What's up, kiddo? Okay. Thank you, honey. Close the door over. Can you get Daddy just put it in the microwave for me?
Yeah.
Thank you, honey. Looks like Bubbles is winning. Okay, so I'll still do the same thing. I'm going to use these two colors for Bubbles, and then I'll go in and I'll shade over with pencils. And I'm going to do some lazy bubbles here, so you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to grab this big ice cream container lid. And again, this is Green Energy by Americana. I have to grab some more of that, I think. So I'm going to put a little bit on this lid here. And then this is, I don't know if I want that one actually. Oh, let's use it. Okay, this is Key West by Apple Barrel. I'm going to put a little bit there. And then I'm going to just hunt around my room quickly and find some circular objects that I can wash paint off of. And you probably know what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I am going to put a couple big bubbles in, which I'm probably just going to use the acrylic paint bottles for. And we can always make them look prettier later on. Maybe have some coming off the page a little bit. Just grab a Kleenex and wipe that off. Okay, and then before we continue, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag the paint inwards just to color it in. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go back in with pencil to do some shading anyways, so this is kind of just the outline. Okay. Thank you. It's just kind of I'm really lazy when it comes to stuff like this. So if I can save time, and I kind of suck at drawing circles, so. So I'm going to do the same thing with the green. I don't think I want as many big green bubbles though, so we'll just do a few. And I want some of these to overlap. Just maybe do like 3 big green bubbles, I think. Actually kind of looks neat leaving them like that. Now I'm kind of torn. Could do some filled in and leave some like that. And then I've got just some smaller little circle pieces here. This is actually like a thing of lip gloss. there's some green ones in there too. Maybe have a couple overlapping. Yeah, I was just kind of thinking that too. Now I almost wish I hadn't colored in the blue ones, but we will, I don't know, let's put in a couple other green ones here and we'll color them in. We'll have a little bit of both and I think that'll kind of help it look super interesting. So we'll color in that one and then maybe one right here, maybe one down here. It is messy, I will warn you. It's very messy. But I have a glass desk, so it's pretty easy to clean, thankfully. Sorry, don't mind my hand here. I need to hold the page down a little bit. Okay, so now I definitely want to put in some of the blue ones and just kind of leave them as is so that way it kind of matches a little bit. Thanks, Jody. I'm more lazy in the sense like you could go in and do like a lot of work to create probably better looking bubbles, but I don't know. I'm kind of actually really liking this. So again, I'm going to come in, these more perfect ones here, I'm going to come in and kind of color them in. The ones that are a little bit messier, I think I'm just going to leave them as is.
Mom, your burger is done.
I know, honey. I'm still streaming though. I'll eat when I'm done, okay? Thank you. So sweet, so concerned. Okay, and I think that's all I want to do for big bubbles. And so now what I'm going to do is we'll put in some smaller bubbles and then maybe some even smaller bubbles. So, oh, I was way up here on chat. My chat is not moving. Hold on, let me just read through this. Thanks, everyone. Depression is another one I struggle with too. So I'm just going to take a Q-tip and just I'm going to just randomly dot in some smaller dots. I'm not going to be too precise with them. They don't have to look perfect. In fact, I'm noticing that the bubbles that don't look perfect are the ones that actually look better. So just gonna plop them in. Do a green one there. I'm using different ends of the cotton swab for different colors, of course. Okay, I like that. Mini, like jellyfish? Ooh, that sounds fun, Robin. Okay, so there's one more thing that I want to do, I think. It's kind of a gamble, though. But I think I'm going to go for it. So, definitely need a sheet of paper here. And just going to kind of cut out a piece big enough to cover her and hopefully nothing else, or not much else. Let's see, how is that a little too big? Thanks, precious. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I've got my colors here. I'm going to add 1 squirt of water. I'm sorry, let's make it 2 to each one. And then I'm going to take my fan brush, mix that up a little bit. I'm also going to put a sheet of paper on this other page to kind of protect that as well. And then I don't want too many splatters, so I'm going to splatter on here just a couple times to get some of the excess paint off. And then I'm going to come in and just randomly splatter around the page. I don't want too much, just a little bit. So I think that's it for the green. Hopefully that was okay. It's close enough to her that it doesn't look too strange. I just don't want there to be a whole bunch of splatters around the page and then none near her, because then it might look a little strange. So I'm going to do the same thing with the blue. And this is a super, super messy technique. Come in and try and get some splattered closer to her. Okay. I think we'll maybe do a few white highlights in there, and then I think she's almost done. We've just got our dragon to do, maybe a couple highlights. And I got paint everywhere. Bye, precious. Have a wonderful supper. Are you 100% sure that it was are you 100% sure that it was Amazon? There are quite a few scam calls going around. I've actually received a couple of them myself. I refuse to give any information out over the phone, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to take some white acrylic paint, a super thin brush, and we'll just put some shines in some of these bubbles. So don't want to do too much, and let's have them kind of coming in on this side, I think. And I did say I was going to do some shading on the bubbles. I'm not 100% sure now if I'm going to or not. I kind of like them the way they are. They are super messy, but they look interesting, and I like that. Yeah, that's a good call, Charlotte. We actually had people trying to call to be pretending to be our computer service. And they wanted access to our computer, because, you know, if you give them a code or whatever, or you log them into something, they can mess around on your computer. And they were trying to tell us that we had a refund, that somebody installed the wrong software on our computer. And hubby let them on for maybe 5 minutes before deciding that nope, probably best to call our computer guys and make sure that it's actually them, and it wasn't. So definitely be careful who you talk to. Yeah, it's definitely not a good mistake to make either. Thankfully, they weren't on our computer for too long, so they didn't have a chance to mess with anything or get any information, but still kind of scary how easily they can persuade you. Okay, so I'm just going to grab one of the colors that we used for our dragon, because I kind of went over his, don't know what that's called, his whisker, I guess. So I'm going to pop that back in. So I think I'm going to grab the Sunburst Yellow. That might not be bright enough. Okay, what's our next brightest color? Let's go in with the lemon yellow, actually. Or, no, let's go in with canary yellow. Kind of a little bit tricky, actually. It's not showing up as well as I was hoping it would. Okay, well, see, this is why I need to get my hands on the Posca pens, but I do have paint, so next best thing. Just take a little bit of paint and touch that up. Oh, if I can even get this open. 2 seconds. Need the husband. I can't get it open. He can. Hopefully this color matches well enough. There we go. Oh, thanks everybody. Okay, before we work on anything else, hopefully you guys don't mind, but I'm going to grab my hair dryer and I'm just going to kind of dry the paint for a minute, just so it's not so wet. I got a little bit too ahead of myself. I probably should have finished her first before attempting the background, but I was a little bit excited to try it. Okay, it's going to be loud for just a minute or two. Dry enough. So just kind of looking at this, I really like the background, but I'm not really digging the bubbles that are colored in. So what I'm going to do to kind of make them look a little bit more interesting is I'm going to take my indigo blue pencil and I'm just going to change their color up a little bit. I will do a little bit of blending on these ones. Ooh, Stardust sounds really pretty, Kimberly. Okay, I think I'm liking that a little bit better, so that's what we'll do. I don't think I have a darker blue, though. I would like to make it darker if I can. I lost my... oh, there it is. Never mind, I found it. Maybe, actually, let's grab the dioxazine purple hue. And I'm going to put that in at the bottom here to darken it up. And this is also going to tie in with her eyes as well. Just lightly going over the paint because some of it's not quite dry yet. And then to blend it in, I'm going to grab the light green. And that should help us fade it out. This acrylic paint actually doesn't seem like it wants to take the pencil very easily, but it is working, and it's kind of creating a very interesting texture. I can actually like blend these pencils on this acrylic paint, which is strange. Usually I can't do that. The Americana acrylic paint though is probably the best for putting pencil over top. Oh, hi CB. I don't know if I've seen you here. I definitely do need a heat tool. Although I'm not even sure if they sell them around here anymore. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing up here. Pretty much going to do this for all of the big bubbles, I think. And I think for these ones, to darken them up, I don't want to add the purple, so I'm going to put black instead. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you. So we'll go black, and then I lost, oh, I lost my indigo blue. So blend that out a little bit, and then we'll go in with the light aqua just to blend everything together and blend it out. There, and I think that gives them a little bit more interest. It ties them into her a little bit more, and I like it a lot better. So I'm just going to do that for all of these, the bigger colored in ones. These ones, I'm not going to worry about shading them. I'm just going to leave them as is. But the medium-sized ones and the bigger ones, I want to kind of define them a little bit more. Be really careful over top of this paint. Some of it's peeling because it's not really quite dried yet. So it just goes to show, if you don't really like something, don't be afraid to change it up. I was a little nervous about coloring over top of these bubbles, but I'm actually really liking the effect that they're giving. Well, Jody, you've got me beat by 5. I have made quite the dent in Hannah's first book, though, but I'm not even halfway done it yet. Still got lots to go. Thanks, Dorothy. I assume that was meant towards me, or maybe you're talking about a book. If it was meant to me, then thank you. So I'm just using the same colors, the black, the indigo blue, and the light aqua for the blue bubbles, and then for the green ones I'm using the dioxazine purple blue, dioxazine purple hue, indigo blue, and light green. it is definitely making a big difference. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's worth it. Doing all of these bubbles like this would have taken forever though, so I'm not too worried. But it's definitely helping. I'm really glad that I made that mistake and attempted to fix it. Most times I would have kind of left it because I would have been afraid to touch it and possibly ruin it more, but I'm kind of learning to get over that fear and to just dive in and do it, because 9 times out of 10 it does work out. And even if it doesn't, it was a learning experience and you remember for next time, so. Hopefully watching me color in these bubbles isn't too boring for you guys. Thanks, Jody. Thanks, everybody. They kind of do, don't they? I really like that. Just a few more to go. We should be able to finish this before Kate comes on. I'm hoping. Don't have too much to do. We'll finish off these bubbles and then just a few highlights and she'll be done. Well, thank you, Donald Trump. Nice name. It's a little bit difficult coloring over these paints. I usually don't use the apple barrel in my coloring books. And the other one was the Americana Neon Lights ones they have a different finish. They don't say that they're anything else but matte, but they have a strange finish to them. But it's actually creating a really interesting texture. So what is everybody else working in? I only have one other work in progress aside from this one, and that is the same, the Storm of Dress or Dress of Storms girl from the Jasmine book. I'm still stuck on whether to add more colors to it or just keep it going with the colors that I already have. Got cat hair everywhere. Okay, only a few more bubbles to go. Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, Gnomes in the Neighborhood, Inklings. Those are all great books. I absolutely love Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, although it kind of intimidates me a little bit, so I haven't colored too much in it. Gnomes in the Neighborhood is definitely on my list. And Inklings, that's one that I am looking to add in the future, but I need to finish a few books. Oh, that's sweet, Flower Gal. I'm sure she'll absolutely love that. Wanda Gates. Oh, I don't blame you, Dorothy. But when it comes to backgrounds for me, if I'm nervous about them, I will usually take a picture beforehand and then attempt the background. And if it doesn't work out, at least you have that picture to post from before. Yep, that's what I do too. Or before like adding finishing touches like fog or something last minute that I'm very unsure of, but that I still want to do, at least then you have your good picture. And you can just show that and be like, well, it did look nice at one point. But I'm sure your backgrounds will be just beautiful, Dorothy. I think for this bubble, I'm not going to add any of the black because I feel like it would kind of be hidden here, but I am going to maybe put a little bit of the indigo blue over top of that green bubble just because they'd kind of be showing through, right? So kind of mix the colors a little bit, looks interesting. Thanks, CB. I'm pretty sure your name is Connie, am I right? I'm not going to cheat and look at my book this time. I'm going to try by memory. And if it's not, I apologize. I really do. I have a terrible memory. Three more bubbles to go. Yay. Yes, I got it. I think that's the first time I've actually remembered. I always get you and Christine mixed up for some reason. But getting better. Bye, Charlotte. Thanks for joining, hun. I hope you have a great day. Or morning or evening, wherever you are. Should just start saying, hope you have a great time. And thank you, sweetheart. I feel like they are floating in bubble space, and I love it. Okay, our bubbles are done. So I am actually loving, absolutely loving how that turned out. Our dragon is a little bit washed out though. Can't really see the oranges at the top of him. Oh, thanks, Robin. We'll do his little eyes, which I think we're going to do in greens. And we'll keep them simple, so I'm just going to grab the cobalt turquoise and spring green. So I'm just going to, I'm not going to, well, maybe I will sit down. My desk is definitely very cluttered, so I'm working with minimal space here. So I'm just going to go in, cover his whole eyes in with the spring green. And then I'm just going to shade a little bit from the top with the cobalt turquoise. And then we'll just go back over it with the spring green, and that's, call it good. But I'm going to go in with my black fine liner and just kind of bring his eye back out a little bit. And we will add a highlight, but while we're waiting for that to dry. Thanks, everybody. One thing I would like to do, I'm going to take my Uniball Signo pen, and I'm just going to come in and put just little bits of white here and there on some of these scales. Just to kind of make them pop out a little bit. Maybe put just a little bit down here too, even though it's darker, make it stand out a little bit. Thank you. I'm quite proud of how this worked out. I didn't really have a plan coming into this, which is actually sometimes kind of nice to just kind of color without a plan or a vision in your head and just kind of wing it and do what you feel at the time. I feel like I don't do that enough, but I definitely enjoy it when I do. I also feel like that's some of my best pieces are ones that I don't really overthink. Oh, hopefully, husband's getting a call. Hopefully that's the plumber, finally. We've been unable to use water since yesterday. Our basement always floods like once a year. Thankfully we caught it early this year, so won't be too much damage. Get situated and then prepare for it for next year. I think it's because when it gets cold, the pipes move. Okay, you need to go close that door, please. Thank you. Okay, there we go. So come back up to his eyes here. Give him a little bit of a highlight. And I think I'm going to call that done. Oop, wrong way. Just zoom out here. So I really like how she turned out. She's kind of like underwater and spacey at the same time. Oh, well, thank you, Tina. Thanks, Kimberly. Oh, well, 3 isn't too many. You could definitely get it done if you wanted to. If not, it just counts that you put your best effort into it. I came close to not finishing the very last one. It took me like an hour and a half to even come up with an idea for it. By the time I finished it, it was almost 2 in the morning. Or no, 1:30 in the morning, I think. And yeah, I was just done. Okay, should we make her eyebrows stand out a little bit, or should we just leave them as is? And just play around with that. I'm gonna grab my cobalt turquoise here and maybe, yeah, I like that. Let's bring them out a bit. Okay, so she is done. Thank you everybody for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed the process of this. I most definitely enjoyed it. It was super fun, super experimental. I will definitely be using this bubble technique later. I should totally patent that. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of a talking too fast. Kind of a spur of the moment idea, but it definitely really worked out, and I'm glad I tried it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm not sure what we'll be doing on Wednesday. Maybe we'll dive back into a Hannah Lynn one and work in the Victorian Darlings, because I know a lot of us have that one. So yeah, I will definitely see you guys Monday, and take care. I do believe, I haven't heard anything, but I'm pretty sure Kate is still streaming, so she should be right after me. So I will hopefully see you guys over at her stream, and see you Wednesday. Okay, bye everybody.